Say there is security. Let's see it. You said the economy has improved. Let's see it. The question you're asking me about INEC, I have never been critical. I don't have energy to spend on criticizing INEC. INEC conducted a fraudulent and bad election, which is not up to now consistent with the Nigerian constitution, the declaration itself. And I stated it. They have finished us. They have declared a government that is in place and providing the kind of governance they can provide. So I have no business with INEC besides the statement of fact. Now, having cleared this, and it is very, very important to do so, statement of fact, let INEC do what they feel like. Let their conscience judge them. Let posterity judge them. Let Nigerians judge them. That's all I want. That's all I want. A credible person. Not somebody who would clearly read what the Constitution provides. 25% in at least 2/3 of the states of the Federation and the FCT. And go ahead to breach the Constitution and put Nigeria in what Nigeria is in today. Just one individual. If you recall, I told you, throughout human history, individuals make or break nations.
This particular one is not just casual statement from Datti Baba-Ahmed. This was a powerful interview that has sparked debates everywhere and is making serious waves online. We all remember what happened in 2023 election. Nigeria came out in hope, but what many people got was disappointment. According to Datti Baba-Ahmed, what happened wasn't just flawed process. It was outright electoral fraud. He boldly said Nigerians were robbed because when there is zero trust in the system, it's no longer an election, it is selection. And let's be honest, it's not just the only one saying this. Many Nigerians still feel betrayed because their vote didn't count. That he made it clear the heart of Nigerian problem is electoral fraud. Bad leadership doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It is born from the rigged election, corruption, strife. When the wrong people get into power, even insecurity, as he explained, is linked to leadership who were never truly chosen by the people. Think about it. If leaders know they can rig their way into power, why would they bother working for the people? Why would they care about the roads, schools, hospitals, or security? Their only focus will be on holding power at all costs. Now, he went further to say something very important. He doubts if Nigeria can ever get it right in the future elections if the same cycle continue. And honestly, that's a painful reality. In 2015, Nigerian thought change has finally arrived. People were hopeful, but what happened? Things got worse, even worse than before. So when Datti Baba-Ahmed says that in 2023 they came prepared to sacrifice personal ambition for Nigeria, he was reminding us that sometimes it takes just one honest leader to change everything. The same way it takes only just one corrupt leader to destroy everything. Imagine a Nigeria where elections are credible, where the person who truly wins is allowed to serve. Don't you think governance will be different? Don't you think the leader will fear the people instead of the people fearing the leader? But right now, it feels like the reverse. The very people we put in power are the ones oppressing us with that same power. This is the reason why Nigerians are crying out for change every single day. People are not just hungry for food. They are hungry for justice. They are hungry for fairness. They are hungry for leadership who actually care. Look around you. Families that were barely surviving before are now struggling to eat even once a day. Young people are leaving the country in thousands because they feel hopeless about the system. And all this ties back to one thing: elections. If elections are fraudulent, everything that follows will also be fraudulent. It's like building a house on a weak foundation. No matter how beautiful it is, it will eventually collapse. That's what Datti Baba-Ahmed is trying to make Nigerians understand. He also touched on something deeper: democracy. He asks, is this really democracy? Because what we're seeing is far from it. Democracy is supposed to mean the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. But here, it looks more like government of the powerful, by the powerful, and for the powerful. Now, let me ask you, how long can a system like this last? How long will Nigeria continue to suffer just because of these selfish ambitions of few people? And more importantly, when will Nigerians stand up and demand that enough is enough? Seriously, this is one video you don't want to miss, because the word of Datti Baba-Ahmed are not just compliant, they are a warning. A warning that if we don't fix electoral fraud, every other problem will keep getting worse. I'm going to play the interview now so you can hear exactly what he said. But as you watch, ask yourself, is this the kind of democracy we deserve? Is this the kind of future we want for our children? Drop your thoughts in the comment section. I really want to know what you think about everything that Datti Baba-Ahmed said. Don't forget to like this video, share it so more Nigerians can hear this message. And if you are just coming across this YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel today so that you don't miss future updates, because this conversation is not ending here, it's only just beginning.
The question you're asking me about INEC, I have never been critical. I don't have energy to spend on criticizing INEC. INEC conducted a fraudulent and bad election, which is not up to now consistent with the Nigerian constitution, the declaration itself. And I stated it. They have finished us. They have declared a government that is in place and providing the kind of governance they can provide. So I have no business with INEC besides the statement of fact. Now, having cleared this, and it is very, very important to do so, statement of fact, let INEC do what they feel like. Let their conscience judge them. Let posterity judge them. Let Nigerians judge them.
By November this year,
Yes.
Professor Mahmoud Yakubu's time at INEC will gradually wind down. In your own view, the leadership of INEC could be very critical. Nigerians are asking for electoral reforms and looking forward to an election that will bring some level of trust in our democracy. What are your own views about who should be the next lead, who should lead INEC going forward into our critical 2027 elections?
Very simple answer. A credible person. That's all I want. That's all I want. A credible person. Not somebody who would clearly read what the Constitution provides. 25% in at least 2/3 of the states of the Federation and the FCT, and go ahead to breach the Constitution and put Nigeria in what Nigeria is in today. Just one individual. If you recall, I told you, throughout human history, individuals make or break nations. This man is going to be responsible for what has happened, what is happening in Nigeria. It is wrong. I still say it is wrong up till now. Without apology, it's a statement of fact. Another arm of government upheld what he did. I beg to say, as small as I am, by the service of God Almighty in my heart, it is wrong what they upheld.
But you were proven wrong by every institution of state.
We were not wrong.
But the court says you were wrong.
No, they have the power to say we were wrong. Now, this is another clarification we have to make. The courts have the power to say you are wrong, even if you are not wrong. And we were not wrong. That election was rigged. And that election, the results up to now are not consistent with the Nigerian constitution. Anyway, leave that. You asked me who I want is not important. I want a credible person. I would rather we talk about democracy for once. I would rather we talk about the Fourth Republic for once. I would rather we talk about the average Nigerian citizen for once.
Because
the Nigerian politician, the Nigerian elite, and the Nigerian leaders.
Because our election, our election is at the heart.
Yes.
Because it's a process of choosing a leader. No matter what kind of state that you have, when you don't have the right leader, you're set for a disaster. And that is why it is important for us to get it right in the choice of those who conduct our elections, because it determines how our country goes, because it determines our leaders.
I couldn't agree more with you that our leadership recruitment is all and everything about Nigeria now. And electoral fraud is right now the single most important fact to be addressed in our life as a nation, even beyond insecurity. Insecurity is derived from electoral fraud. The way we have it now, Nigerian election gave birth to the kind of insecurity we have today. But there isn't enough time to discuss it now. or I can prove it. Corruption is aggravated by the kind of electoral fraud that we have. The destruction of our youth, the destruction of our systems, including the judiciary, these are all guaranteed by the types of elections we hold. So, yes, you couldn't be more correct, and I could not agree on you on anything more than our leadership recruitment is the bane of our problems today.
You look at where we are as a people today, and there are a lot of factors that happen globally that could have pointed us into prosperity. COVID could have taught us a lot of lessons that would have directed us in the way of tech and innovation. Because in the rest of the world, it brings them up for the worse, and it helped them to wake up. There's some part of their brains that weren't working before COVID, and a lot of things started happening. A lot of businesses came to boom after COVID. The war in Ukraine and Russia gave rise to a lot of countries' prosperity.
Nigeria is quite different. Sorry to cut in.
Absolutely.
I want to say a lot in this our engagement. Nigeria is quite different from the countries you're talking about, and right now, all Nigeria needs to prosper is good leadership.
That's one. That's the
one
and only.
That's the one and only thing. Everything else will fall in place. We have been underestimating how industrious Nigerians are. A Nigerian from a badly disadvantaged state raises a little capital, and you find him in China, in South Korea, creating businesses out of necessity. Come back to Lagos, come back to Abuja, and those people are thriving. All we need in Nigeria today is good leadership, and everything else will fall in place. Insecurity will be sorted with the right leadership. But to get that right leader, you must produce them through the right way.
But do we have that sort of... You were on the ballot as a running mate in 2023. Does it look like the year that we could have gotten it right? If not, 2027, do we have a possibility of getting it right as a people?
I doubt 2027.
Why?
Quite frankly, I'll come back to that. But your question is spot on, but could even be more so. 2023 was not exactly there. 2015 was there, but not just to get the election, but to get the right leadership. 2015 was when Nigeria was disappointed, was when Nigeria was let down. 2015 was when we realized that some people are in Nigerian politics for the wrong reasons. Here is a government, no names called, given power easily, not even going to court against them. Took 6 months to form the government, and then corruption started afresh. Insecurity took new dimensions and everything. Your question, as good as it was, is that was 2023 or 19 or 15 the time that Nigerian leadership would have begun to answer their names? Good leaders begin to Nigerian politics produce good leaders. When in 2015 we thought it was good leadership produced, we came to realize it was indeed bad leadership produced.
That was when Buhari came into power.
I don't want to call
So you thought, I mean, that, with the fact that when you mentioned the year,
I know, okay.
So it's a fact that you thought that a lot of Nigerians were disappointed. The Buhari government came with a lot of hopes and expectation. That's what you meant.
Absolutely.
Nigerians were disappointed.
Absolutely.
Was that something that Buhari could have done? I mean, coming with that huge expectation, someone that ran for the fourth time and won the election, excuse me, running and hoping that he's going to make Nigeria better. What would you say was a problem? Was it an issue of lack of preparedness, or the fact that there were no intentions of good governance?
Do you really want me to say it?
Absolutely.
May God forgive all of us, especially the departed. I did mention that some people were in the game for the wrong reason. And I think we're not far from the truth in that regard. Here was a gentleman that was retired from the army, removed from power at the age of 42. No trade to his name. So the first thing to do, of course, after coming out from this rear detention and everything, politics. When, during the Abacha time, the arch enemy of Abacha, so become friends with this one, get an appointment, and when they got that appointment, it was a different story from the leadership of 84, 85. There was no longer truth, there was no justice. It was corruption and corruption and corruption. Everybody knows how corrupt that government was. Up to now, there is money still being claimed by the federal government of Nigeria. And this is a statement of fact, I'm saying. 2003 happened. And then it all became about party contribution. And then the ecosystem around this individual became all about party contribution, political campaign contributions. It happened again in 2007, 2011, and then 15. Now, what I'm saying is that the ecosystem around the individual you're talking about, which I didn't want to mention, were in the whole game for the wrong reason. Without party contributions, that ecosystem would starve. So when they got power in 2015, it was like finding it's so easy. And then corruption started afresh.
But this
look, this is very important.
I mean, there are people,
I want to change the topic.
Who were in that 2015, the league of those who came into power in 2015. They are in the ADC now saying that they want to fix Nigeria. What are your thoughts about that?
They are deceiving us.
The ADC?
Yes.
I thought you were one of them.
No, I'm a Labour Party, for God's sake.
But I thought that you are a Peter Obi man.
I'm a Peter Obi man. I still want Peter Obi to come back in Labour Party, contest 2023 and 2027. Those are not, please, show. I know you call it politics today. And I know we're doing politics. There are more fundamental issues I want to talk about. Even this Buhari case that I talked about, you led me into discussing it. I don't want to. There are more important things. What do we really have? I'm not asking the questions. So I cannot ask myself questions and answer them. But now, look, what's going on in Nigeria? What's going on? What's happening with the Fourth Republic? The armed forces that we cried about, the whole world cried about, actually spent money to bring in democracy, suppressed their own desires to bring in democracy. What is happening with this democracy? What's happening to the Fourth Republic? It's more important for me to discuss this than to discuss...
so if you look at what is going on in the present Nigeria, and you imagine that either you belong to Labour Party, ADC, PDP or APC, at the end of the day, Nigeria is Nigeria. And we need to care for the well-being of our dear nation. The trajectory of first and foremost of our economy.
Yes.
Are we on the right track? Are we possibly or likely to have be in the right shape of mind in getting things right?
Brilliant question. One of my professors at Harvard Business School, in fact, the director himself, on a goodbye note, he said to me, but I want you to be more patient and tolerant about the way you will be misunderstood because of the way you present. And what you work on in your mind is usually not the typical. I have kept that at the back of my mind. Apparently, he's not just the only one who said it. You spoke about the economy. Economic orientation of a young nation way back in 1960, becoming independent from the British Empire that found oil and gas, agric potentials, solid mineral potentials and everything, but then a complicit public system. Now, this is what I have been seeing in the last, not just saying, doing. You go to a doctor, for example, out of 100 ailments, he needs to be 100% sure the particular ailment he's going to treat you for is your problem. Otherwise, you have a bigger problem. A factor of 10,000. Out of 10,000, you need to pinpoint what really is our problem now. And I think what Nigerians are not used to hearing. On the governance side, I told you it was electoral fraud. On the economy side, it is procurement. It sounds strange. I can see how surprised you are. Why am I saying this?
And that's in the heart of the civil service.
That is at the heart of the nation itself. Development does not exist in nature. You have to make it. To make it means you have to procure, you have to buy it. Efficiency comes into question. The insecurity that we're facing, if you spend $1 billion on security and you get $50 million worth of security, you would definitely have insurgency in the northeast, banditry in the northwest. You would. Where is the balance of 95%? In the pockets of political, they have served political group and individual interests. This is procurement.
So, all Nigeria truly needs is good governance, not promises, not propaganda, but leaders we can trust, leaders we can believe in at any time and in any situation, leaders who are selfless, who believes in the future of this country and who genuinely care about the future of our youth. In this interview on Channels TV, Datti Baba-Ahmed didn't just speak casually, he spoke boldly about the dirty game played by INEC and how Nigerians were left feeling betrayed. We all saw what happened during the 2023 election. It wasn't just a disappointment, it was a national outbreak. People were oppressed. Many were not even allowed to vote for the candidate of their choice. We saw clips of thuggery, intimidation, and fear being used to force people into silence or into voting a particular way. And yet, after all this, those in leadership acted as nothing happened. No accountability, no justice, no one arrested for the violence, no apologies for the intimidation, no explanation for the irregularities. They moved on like the people don't matter, as if Nigerians don't deserve answer. This is painful reality that Datti Baba-Ahmed was pointing out, and it's why many Nigerians are angry, because democracy is supposed to give power to the people, but instead the people have been oppressed by the very system meant to protect them. Now, so people argue about Peter Obi saying he's lying when he said he will only do one time, but many obedience responded that even if he's lying, at least the focus of his ambition was not about self-enrichment, it was about saving the people from this mess. That shows you how desperate Nigerians have become for who can at least put the people first, because let's be real, when politicians want power in Nigeria, they do everything possible to get it. They promise heaven and earth. They mobilize every trick in the book. But when they finally enter office, what do we see? They don't fight for the people. They don't sacrifice for the country. They only make things worse while they keep enjoying. And that's why Nigerians cannot afford to sit back anymore. This is the time to tighten our belts and demand accountability. This is the time to stand up and say enough is enough, because if we keep quiet, if we let things continue like this, the cycle of bad governance will never end. Look at what Datti said, that electoral fraud is the foundation of every problem in this country, and he's right. If elections are stolen, then bad leadership will keep repeating itself, corruption will keep growing, insecurity will keep spreading, poverty will keep deepening. Why? Because those who come into power through rigging owe nothing to the people. They only owe loyalty to themselves and their godfather. But imagine if elections were credible. Imagine if your vote truly counts. Don't you think leaders would sit up? Don't you think they would be afraid to fail? Because they would know that in 4 years, the people could vote them out. And that is what real democracy looks like. That is what Nigeria is still missing. So Nigeria must realize that the fight is not just about one man or one party. It is about the system itself, a system that must be fixed if we ever want a future for ourselves and for our children. This is not the time for our party. This is not the time to give up. It is the time to unite and to demand change. Real change, not slogan, not empty promises, but genuine leadership that serves the people. Because if we don't, then We give room for liars, riggers, and oppressors to continue ruling over us. And that is not the Nigeria we desire. So as for you, reflect on Datti Baba-Ahmed words. Ask yourself, what kind of country do we want to see in 2027? What kind of leaders do you want to hand over to the next generation? The answer to those questions lies in what we as Nigerians decide to do today. We must demand credible election. We must demand accountability. And above all, we must refuse to be silenced, because change will not come if we sit and wait. Change will only come when we rise and demand it. This is the moment, this is the fight, and together Nigeria can make it happen. So let's continue this conversation. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I really want to hear from you. Do you agree with Datti Baba-Ahmed's statement about electoral fraud? Do you think Nigeria can get it right in the next election? Share this video so more people can join in this discussion, and don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel for more updates, because this fight for Nigerian future is not ending here. It is only just beginning.